In the heart of the galaxy, on a massive space station, creatures of all shapes and sizes moved through glowing corridors. The air buzzed with strange energy, and machines hummed with power. In the center of the station, a large hall opened up, filled with beings from countless worlds. Some had scales, some had feathers, some had metal skin. All of them were curious, excited, and a little nervous. At the far end of the hall stood something unusual. It was a human prototype, the first of its kind to reach the stars. Its body looked ordinary at first glance: 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, just like a normal human. But inside, it was built to be stronger, faster, and smarter than any alien mind could imagine. Yet, when the aliens first saw it, they laughed. "This is all Earth can make," one of the taller aliens sneered, pointing at the prototype with its long claw. "Pathetic," another said, its voice like broken metal. "I thought humans might be a threat. They are just toys." The prototype stood silently, its eyes calm, showing no anger or fear. It did not move, did not respond. The aliens crowded around, mocking it, poking it, even throwing tiny objects at it to test its strength. The prototype caught every object with ease, but it did not smile or shout. It only watched carefully, calculating each movement, analyzing each gesture. Some aliens shook their heads in disbelief. "It does nothing," they whispered. "It does not fight. It does not scream. It does not beg." But the hall was not completely filled with laughter. A few aliens watched quietly, their eyes wide. They sensed something unusual in the human prototype. Something the others did not notice. Something dangerous. The prototype had been designed for one purpose: survival. And even in this strange, alien world, it was ready to survive. Meanwhile, the aliens continued their teasing. "Perhaps it is broken," a small green creature said, stepping closer. "Maybe Earth sent a toy instead of a soldier." The prototype simply tilted its head slightly, like it understood the joke, but did not react. Its calmness annoyed the aliens even more. Suddenly, a low hum echoed through the hall. Machines trembled, and lights flickered. The laughter stopped. Every alien turned to the entrance, confusion and fear mixing on their faces. No one saw it coming at first. The hum grew louder, deeper, almost like a heartbeat. The doors to the hall opened slowly, and a shadow appeared. A figure moved through the corridor, silent, graceful, unstoppable. The aliens froze. The laughter had vanished. The room was filled with tension. It was the Huntress, a legendary warrior known across galaxies. Her reputation alone could make armies retreat, her name whispered in fear even in the farthest corners of space. Her eyes scanned the hall, sharp and cold. All the aliens turned away from the human prototype and stared at her. Some crouched low, ready to flee. Others stepped back, their claws trembling. But the prototype did not move. Its gaze met the Huntress's eyes calmly, almost fearlessly. There was no panic, no hesitation, only quiet focus. The aliens whispered among themselves. "She will destroy us," one said. "We cannot fight her," another admitted. The prototype remained still, standing in the middle of the hall like a small island in a storm. Then, almost as if sensing something, the Huntress paused for a moment, tilting her head slightly. She studied the human carefully, her expression unreadable. The aliens noticed the pause and shivered. Even the most confident warriors could not predict what this human could do. The tension in the hall grew. The prototype's calmness, combined with the Huntress's arrival, created a strange energy. Fear mixed with curiosity. Something big was about to happen. And for the first time, the aliens realized they might have underestimated Earth's creation. The hall had fallen completely silent. The laughter of the aliens had vanished, replaced by an uneasy tension that filled every corner. At the entrance, the shadow moved closer, gliding almost silently across the glowing floor. The Huntress stepped into the hall, tall and strong, her movements smooth and precise. She wore armor that shimmered like black metal under the bright lights, and her eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the energy of the station. Every alien froze in place. Some tried to back away, but the narrow hall offered no escape. Whispers spread quickly. "It is her, the Huntress, the one who never fails. No army has ever faced her and survived, another voice trembled. The Huntress walked slowly, each step echoing with power. She paused for a moment in front of the human prototype, tilting her head slightly, as if she had already recognized it. The aliens stared at the prototype in disbelief. While they were running in fear, the human remained calm, standing tall, unafraid. A small alien with green scales hissed, "Why is it not scared? It should be trembling like the rest of us." The prototype said nothing. Its gaze was steady, observing the Huntress carefully, analyzing her movements. Some aliens could not understand how this small human could remain calm while a being as deadly as the Huntress approached. The Huntress stopped a few steps away from the prototype. Silence hung thick in the air. Then she spoke, her voice deep and smooth, echoing through the hall, "I see Earth's creation." The words caused a ripple of shock among the aliens. No one dared move. No one dared speak. The Huntress circled slowly, examining the prototype. She made no sudden moves, but the air felt tense, as if a storm was about to break. Suddenly, she lunged at one of the nearest aliens. The alien tried to react, but was too slow. In one swift motion, the Huntress knocked it off its feet, sending it crashing into the wall. Panic spread like wildfire. Aliens scrambled to escape, some tripping over each other in their haste. Yet the human prototype did not flinch. It remained standing, silent and alert. The Huntress moved closer again, stopping directly in front of it. Her eyes narrowed, studying every detail of the prototype's body, its posture, its expression. "You are not afraid," she said softly, almost like a whisper, yet the sound carried through the hall like thunder. The aliens gasped. "No human has ever stood against her before," one whispered, fear in its voice. The Huntress crouched slightly, testing the prototype's reaction. Nothing. No movement, no flinch, no fear. Her glowing eyes met the humans, and for a brief moment, the hall felt suspended in time. Even the fleeing aliens turned back, drawn by the strange energy between the Huntress and the prototype. Then, the Huntress smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly. It was not a friendly smile, nor a cruel one. It was a smile that acknowledged something. The aliens could not understand. How could this human be special? How could it face the Huntress without fear? Suddenly, the Huntress stepped back, her posture relaxed slightly, and she observed silently. The hall remained tense, but the prototype now had a presence that demanded attention. Some aliens whispered, "It is different. We misjudged it." The Huntress's focus remained on the human, her sharp eyes filled with curiosity and recognition. And in that silent moment, every being in the hall realized something important. Earth's creation was not ordinary. It was something unique, something that even the Huntress respected. The aliens shuffled nervously, unsure what to do next. They had expected fear and panic, but instead, they found calm strength in the human. The Huntress turned slightly, scanning the hall again, her gaze sharp as a blade. She did not speak again, but her presence was enough to control the room. Every alien stayed in place, waiting for her next move. The prototype remained perfectly still, standing like a beacon of calm in the chaos. And deep in the hearts of the aliens, fear mixed with awe, because they knew that something extraordinary had just begun. The hall was silent except for the soft hum of machines and the nervous whispers of the aliens. The Huntress stood a few steps away from the human prototype, her glowing eyes sharp and alert. The aliens watched from the corners, terrified, unsure if they should run or stay. Suddenly, without warning, the Huntress moved, fast as a shadow. One alien tried to charge at her, thinking it could attack first. But the Huntress was faster. In one smooth motion, she dodged the attack and knocked the alien aside. The creature flew across the hall, crashing into a wall. A wave of fear spread through the other aliens. They scrambled to escape, tripping over one another, their cries echoing through the station. The prototype remained perfectly still. Its calmness seemed almost impossible in the chaos around it. The Huntress stopped for a moment and studied the human, tilting her head slightly. There was something about this human, something unusual. She had fought many strong beings before, but this one was different. One alien tried to sneak past the Huntress to attack the prototype, thinking no one would notice. But the Huntress's eyes were everywhere. She turned instantly and intercepted the alien, tossing it to the side like a toy. The prototype observed everything quietly, analyzing, calculating, waiting for the right moment. Then, without moving its feet, the human made a small gesture with its hand. A subtle wave of energy shot forward, invisible at first, but strong enough to stop another alien in its tracks. The creatures gasped. They had expected the prototype to be weak, to run or hide, but it was not only calm, it was smart and capable. The Huntress smiled faintly again. She had seen strength in many beings, but the prototype's courage and intelligence were rare. She circled the prototype slowly, testing it without touching it. The aliens who had been mocking the human just moments ago now whispered nervously, It is not ordinary. It is dangerous." The Huntress crouched suddenly, launching herself at another alien that tried to escape, moving like a living shadow. Her speed and power were unmatched, and the hall shook with the force of her movements. The prototype stayed calm, watching, studying every move. Then, it acted. With precise timing, it deflected a minor attack from a small alien, redirecting the energy harmlessly to the floor. It moved quickly, but without panic. The Huntress paused, impressed by the human skill. Most beings would have frozen or fled, but this one moved calmly, almost as if it had anticipated the chaos. The aliens were in complete disarray. Some ran for cover, some hid behind pillars, and some just froze, staring in disbelief. The Huntress finally stopped and stepped back, nodding slightly at the prototype. It was a silent acknowledgement, a recognition of its potential. The human prototype remained perfectly still, standing in the center of the hall like a small island of order amidst the chaos. The aliens whispered among themselves, their fear growing. "Earth's creation, we misjudged it," one muttered. "It is stronger than we imagined," said another, trembling. The Huntress's glowing eyes scanned the hall once more, ensuring no one dared challenge her again. Then, she looked back at the prototype, her expression unreadable but full of respect. The tension in the hall began to fade slightly, but the air still crackled with unspoken danger. It was clear to everyone, the prototype was not just a human, it was something extraordinary, capable of facing the Huntress without fear, without hesitation. And deep inside the hearts of the aliens, a single thought echoed. They had underestimated Earth's creation, and that mistake could cost them everything. The Huntress finally took a step back, giving space to the prototype, almost testing its reaction. The human did not move aggressively, it did not back down, it only watched, ready for what might come next. The aliens realized something else. The Huntress, the most feared warrior in the galaxy, had acknowledged the prototype's potential, and that was a signal they could not ignore. In that moment, the hall felt suspended between fear and awe, calm and chaos. The prototype had passed the first test without a scratch. And everyone in the hall knew that this was only the beginning. The hall was quiet now, but the tension was stronger than ever. The aliens still trembled in fear, hiding behind pillars, machinery, or each other. The Huntress stood a few steps away, her glowing eyes fixed on the human prototype. She had seen strength before, but this human was unlike anything she had ever faced. The prototype's calmness was almost irritating to the aliens. They expected fear, but all they saw was focus. Suddenly, a small alien tried to charge again, hoping to catch the prototype off guard. The human moved, not with speed alone, but with precision. In one motion, it grabbed the alien's wrist, twisted, and threw it across the hall. The creature hit the wall with a loud crash, groaning. The other aliens froze. They whispered to each other, It is faster than anyone thought." Then the prototype took a step forward. The floor beneath it began to hum faintly, a subtle energy radiating from its body. The Huntress's eyes narrowed. She knew that energy. She had seen it before in warriors, but never like this. The prototype raised its hand slightly, and suddenly, a wave of force shot forward, knocking several aliens off their feet. They tumbled like ragdolls, unable to resist. The hall echoed with their cries and the hum of the prototype's power. The aliens' fear turned into panic. "It is not just strong, it is unstoppable," one hissed, trying to scramble away. But the human was calm. Each movement was deliberate, controlled. No wasted motion, no anger, only efficiency. The Huntress watched carefully. She had come to test, not to destroy, but now she realized the full extent of the human's potential. One of the taller aliens, the one who had mocked the prototype earlier, tried to rush it again. The prototype moved with almost invisible speed, dodging the attack and countering in a single motion. A blast of energy struck the alien, sending it flying into the far wall, leaving it stunned and terrified. The hall fell silent except for the hum of the prototype's power. The Huntress stepped closer, observing with sharp eyes. She had fought many powerful beings, but this human's combination of intelligence, control, and courage was rare. The aliens whispered among themselves, trembling. We misjudged it," said one, its voice shaking. Another added, "Earth's creation, it is more than we imagined. It is dangerous." The prototype did not speak. It only stood, its presence commanding the room. The Huntress moved in closer, testing it further. A sudden lunge, a feint, a twist in the air. The prototype countered every move with ease. It was fast, strong, and clever. The aliens could not believe what they were seeing. Then, the Huntress finally paused. She stepped back, her glowing eyes meeting the prototype's. In that silent moment, a mutual recognition passed between them. The Huntress's slight nod was acknowledgement. She had seen strength, skill, and potential that few could match. The aliens looked on in disbelief. The prototype, the same human they had laughed at before, had proven it was not ordinary. The room still buzzed with energy. The aliens were frozen, unsure what to do, afraid of what might happen next. The prototype took a deep breath, standing tall, calm, in the center of the hall. It had proven its worth. But in its eyes, there was a hint of warning, a silent message. This was only the beginning. And deep in the hearts of the aliens, fear mixed with awe. They realized Earth had sent something truly unique into the galaxy. The Huntress finally stepped back, giving the prototype space, her glowing eyes still fixed on it. The tension in the hall remained, but now, respect had replaced some of the fear. Everyone knew one thing for certain: the human prototype was not just a creation, it was a force. And the galaxy had yet to see its full power. The hall was still, filled with a quiet energy that was stronger than any words. The aliens who had mocked the prototype now looked at it with fear and awe. Some hid behind pillars, trembling, unable to believe what they had just seen. The taller alien that had laughed the loudest before stepped forward cautiously, its claws shaking. I did not expect this," it whispered, eyes wide. The prototype remained calm, standing in the center of the hall, silent, powerful, unshaken. The Huntress watched from a short distance, her glowing eyes still fixed on the human. There was no threat now, only respect. She had seen many beings claim strength, but none had faced her test with such calm and intelligence. The aliens began to realize that they had made a grave mistake, underestimating Earth's creation. One by one, they took cautious steps back, giving the prototype space. The energy in the hall seemed to shift. The fear was still there, but now it mixed with respect. The prototype looked around slowly, observing each alien carefully. There was no anger, no need for revenge. It had only proven its strength and its worth. The Huntress finally stepped forward, her presence commanding attention once again. She approached the prototype and paused just a few steps away. Her glowing eyes met the human's gaze, and she gave a slight nod. It was a gesture of acknowledgement, a signal that this human was different, rare, and not to be underestimated. The aliens watched in silence, some whispering to each other, "Earth's creation, it is not like us." Another added, "It is stronger, smarter, braver." The Huntress did not speak further. She turned slowly and walked toward the exit, her movement smooth and confident. The aliens froze as she passed, knowing they could not challenge her. Once she disappeared into the corridor, the hall seemed to breathe again, but the tension remained. The prototype remained standing, calm and silent. Its eyes scanned the hall, and even the aliens dared not approach. They had learned a powerful lesson. Humans, especially this prototype, were not to be taken lightly. A soft hum began to fill the hall as the machines returned to normal, but the memory of the prototype's strength lingered in every mind. Some aliens whispered about Earth, about its people, about what other surprises might come from that small, distant planet. The taller alien finally stepped back, bowing slightly, a gesture of respect. "We underestimated you," it admitted quietly. The prototype said nothing. It only stood, letting its presence speak louder than any words. And in that moment, every being in the hall realized something important. Humans were different. Not weaker, not ordinary, but clever, courageous, and unpredictable. The Huntress's brief acknowledgement had confirmed it. Earth's creation had passed a test that few could survive. And deep in the hearts of the aliens, fear and respect mingled. They knew that this human prototype was not the end, it was only the beginning. A distant signal from another galaxy blinked on a screen, unnoticed by most, but visible to the prototype. Its eyes flickered with interest. The adventure was not over. Bigger challenges, greater threats, and unknown enemies were waiting in the galaxy. But for now, in this hall filled with fear and respect, the prototype had proven one undeniable truth. Humans, even the smallest among them, could rise above fear and face the galaxy with courage. And the aliens would never forget this day. For Earth's prototype was not just a creation, it was a force. And the galaxy had finally begun to notice.